Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here, hosting a very special and hopefully fondly remembered installment of NickToons debates, voted by you, the fans, in our August poll of what the next debate should be. Likely because this month marks the 30th anniversary of NickToons, so we're celebrating accordingly with these splat-tastic topics. Best Nicktoon series, most iconic Nicktoon, and pitch for a Nicktoon-based attraction. All right, folks, time to board the slightly unpredictable Mark 1 rocket, fly through Arnold's neighborhood, hook a left at Yugopotamia, and splash down to Bikini Bottom and surface up in the arena! Shot for a live studio audience in Orlando, Florida.
In the Bubble Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this corner, a man who buys his bread canned and his toast powdered. A student of the ancient Hawaiians who once battled over a balance beam atop a giant dish of Jello. It's Tiki!
How am I supposed to eat this pizza without my drink?
And in the opposing corner, he's a boy genius and graduate of Ba Sing Se University. In other words, he went to college! And now he's going ghost. It's Rohith.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye. All right. Joining me on this Pick Boy panel of judges, Claude Goringa and Jacob Weil.
We're the experts in wombology.
Exactly.
Yes. So, fellas, how we doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yes.
Don't want to date the podcast, but I'm not in the most celebratory mood because of certain current events. But
well, neither am I. But we're trying to compartmentalize that, right?
I know. I'm doing okay. I'm doing about as well as I can be given the circumstance.
Is it death involved?
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to get into
Yes.
it.
Then
Back on the opposite end of the death spectrum,
Mm.
life. We're celebrating life. All right, guys. So I'm gonna warn you boys before we get into this. A very auspicious event. This is gonna be one of the most difficult debates you've ever fought in your lives.
Perfect. I'm up
Just
for a
wanna-
challenge.
Just want to let you both know this. We're testing some stuff out, and
Oh,
I have no
boy.
idea if it's gonna work out again. It's like the unpredictable Mark 1 from the NickToons blast. It'll probably get you where you need to go, but it's gonna be a little bumpy. So let's go over.
Solid reference, Dragon. Solid reference.
Love it. So let's go over the rules. The one time that's actually applicable, Tiki.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, boys. So we got 3 main round questions, in which you will reveal your pick. You'll give your opening statement, then you'll fight it out. Right, R2. As per usual, is the bell. When he makes that sound, it's time for deliberation, which we vote and pick who gets the point. So at the end of 3 rounds, we go to the optional feature of our little game, this time called Philip the Nickelodeon.
It's a girl! It's a girl nickel!
Yep. Named after Cosmo's coin, Philip. What's the bad news? It's a girl! All right, so basically the way that works is the optional feature lands heads, you get a point. Lands tails, not so lucky. You lose a point. Now, a new feature we're testing out.
Oh, God.
Gentlemen, somewhere in our little game, there is a penalty. Okay? There is a penalty. So the first player to say the magic word will incur a penalty. I won't say what it is yet.
What?
I won't say what it is yet. That's going to be the fun of it. And Jacob has been instructed to be on the lookout for it. Isn't that right,
God.
Jacob?
Yep, I've been tasked to keep an ear out for this secret word and/or phrase,
Oh God.
and it could be,
Wow.
and
It's
it could
like the
be,
opposite of the Pee-wee word of the day.
Yes, it's like
Yeah.
the Pee-wee word of doom, one could say.
Oh God.
and it could be something like Wumbo. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah. Could be anything. So, just bear that in mind. Basically, it's only going to happen once when somebody says whoever says this ominous phrase first will incur the penalty, and I'll reveal what it is. Most likely at the end of the round.
And we won't reveal who said it until the end of the round either.
And that's Jacob's responsibility to keep track of who said it. All right.
Okay.
Okay, and also hidden in one of our rounds is the hidden coin, which
Oh
in
my
this
God,
case
wow,
is
so many twists.
I know, right? It's the kablam coin, or as I like to refer to it
Can we
as
call it the
coin.
legend of the hidden coin?
What?
We did
The
that before.
legend of the hidden coin.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, we did. We did that one already.
This
All
time
right.
it's coin blam.
Oh, okay. That worked.
So when it happens, it's coin blam. So again, that'll just be basically the same coin function will be presented to the winner of a round once we find that blasted coin. All right. Let's see. So then, of course, that will take us to the speed round, which let's just say hosts a lot of surprises and audience questions, both live. Both we will be taking live, and a few that are pre-submitted for you folks out there. Which again, you will judge these rounds, or we'll turn it over to the audience to judge. Who gets the point for some of those rounds, and it's going to be crazy. All right, gentlemen. I know it was a lot. I'm going to ask: do you understand these rules as I've explained them to you both here? This fine orange-colored evening.
Oh, don't joke about the atmosphere being orange colored in San Francisco, in California during fire season, buddy.
Fine, this green-colored evening. You happy
Yes,
now?
I understand. Like,
Well,
the
works, 'cause it's
sky
fine.
being a fresh orange color is not what I want to see in California right now.
All right, okay. Rohith, do you understand these rules? Now he's taking all the fun out of it. Do you understand these rules as I've explained them to you here this fine evening?
I do.
Can you explain them again?
Don't joke about that. All right, let's go to the randomizer. Let's find out who's going first this evening.
Looks like it's Rohith going first.
Rohith. All right. Rohit's going first this evening, followed by Tiki, at least for our first 3 rounds. Okay. All right, let's get nostalgic, boys. Round numero uno.
Hold on, just to point out some people in the comments here. We got Bedazzled, we got Pink Pearl,
Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight. Yeah, so happy to have you all here. It's going to be a fun time. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Pink Pearl's
Okay.
here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Popped in.
Yep.
All right. Round numero uno. So NickToons, we did recently. We did a podcast to celebrate the 30th anniversary. NickToons through the decades, that's 3 decades worth of shows. So that begs the question. I'm sorry, real quick. Rohit, can you turn off the Discord thing? It's doing the sound again. Yeah, well, he gets on that. All right. Okay. So, like I was saying, what is the greatest NickToons series of all time? It's pretty simple. Best NickToons series. I think you get the gist of it. All right.
Mhm.
So, let's see. Rohit. What is your pick?
My pick is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right. Tiki.
All right, is anyone really surprised? My pick is Hey Arnold.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I predicted these 2 picks.
Well, Tiki, it was a 50-50 shot between Hey Arnold and Avatar, honestly. So things worked out pretty much.
Yeah, you never know. You might have a classic SpongeBob fan.
I got that too.
Or Danny Phantom fan.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. Well,
yeah. Well, I mean, me, yes.
Avatar,
Him, I don't know about him. All right, so opening statement. Rohit.
So, my argument for why Avatar: The Last Airbender is the greatest Nicktoon series of all time comes down to three elements. One, writing. Two, the voice acting. And three, the quality of animation. Now, I think to address sort of the first thing that comes to the eye when watching Avatar: The Last Airbender is the quality of animation. The quality of animation, like some people have a reductive statement of saying it's anime-esque, but really the quality of animation in Avatar: The Last Airbender is of such a quality that certain episodes, especially when if it's say Tales of Ba Sing Se or the episodes that are old and in the finale for all three seasons, where you have epic action sequences and a lot of choreography, and a lot of sort of elements coming together. The coloring, the lighting provides such an epic and grand scope, while also being suited for episodes or moments that are more intimate and smaller. And I think that quality of animation has certainly been such a big influence for things like Voltron's Legendary Defender on Netflix, which is not surprising considering some of the same folks on Avatar: The Last Airbender went over to Voltron Legendary Defender, at least on the writing side. The animation is such quality where it's something that, people draw like numerous fan art over, and, it's something that, has inspired numerous fans and numerous people wanting to go into animation. The second point to bring out is in regards to the voice acting. The voice acting, you have legends like Mark Hamill playing the Emperor of the Fire Nation, and just a variety of voice. There's really not a name talent in the cast, but the actors that are, well, at least Mark Hamill and Dante Basco comes to mind. But for the actors that are cast in their respective roles, they provide such great identity, such great sense of purpose and sense of, character, that if you think of a character, their voice is just so iconic, and their mannerisms, the way that they emphasize certain words and certain lines of dialogue, just shows how indelible and how impactful Avatar has been, not just to other NickToon shows, but to overall animation. I think the most strongest point in my favor is in regards to the writing quality. You have a show that has probably one of the most impressive world building in any piece of fiction since Harry Potter. You have four nations that are defined by the four elements of nature, and it derives heavily from Asian culture. And so there's an intellectual and spiritual aspect of the show that is very rare or even hinted at in other shows, especially in NickToons. And in this show, you deal with issues of warfare, of spirituality, of growth, maturity, and what does it mean to become an adult and to really become a person that can make an impact of the world and what that impact should be. And all of these thematic heft is underlined by just a lot of tragedy and a lot of humor. And this show can go into the funniest and just most heartful moments, and you can go to the moments where it's dark and suspense, specifically at the end of season 2 in regards to what happens to Aang. So spoiler warning, when he gets struck by lightning by Azula. And so this show is a show. I think this show, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I would go as far to say is that the feelings that one would have in watching all 3 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender is what a young kid felt when watching the original Star Wars trilogy, about this young person going on this journey and becoming a better person, inspiring other people to not rid the world of evil, fight against it by our pure hearts and just the overall goodness of humanity. And I think that's why in all those 3, you have something that's above the rest of the NickToons and above really a lot of animated shows since its debut. And I think Avatar is a trendsetter for quality animation and a more mature animation that, really pushes the envelope, but still has a sense of fun.
Okay, Tiki.
All right, well, Rohith, I'd like to thank you a lot because you had a very, very wordy intro that very much plays into my argument. So here's the deal. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm not going to mix words here. It's a masterpiece of storytelling, for sure. But it is not the best NickToon, and I will tell you why. I feel like Avatar kind of like elevates itself above the Nicktoons genre, and maybe that'll play to my favor. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But this is a strategy I'm going with. When I think Nicktoons, I think cartoon. I think standalone episodes. I think lovable characters. I think easily digestible plot lines. That's exactly what Hey Arnold is. Avatar came along, and it really did kind of blow the lid off of what exactly a Nicktoon could and should be. And honestly, I think Avatar in some ways kind of like almost sort of like destroyed the concept of a Nicktoon just because it was so radically different. And then after that, we just got a lot of a lot of shows that were kind of similar. But I feel like Nicktoons as defined, like, let's say, remember the cartoons of Cartoon Network. We all know what those shows were. We all know what kind of style those shows had. And I feel like Hey Arnold is the same way with the rollout of the early Nicktoons. I feel like Hey Arnold is very much kind of it's a masterpiece of short form storytelling, whereas Avatar: The Last Airbender is a masterpiece of long form storytelling. And that is the difference. And I think the difference for me is that you can turn on any individual episode of Hey Arnold with a couple exceptions, like, Arnold Betrays Iggy isn't great, but they never play that, so whatever. But, you can turn on practically any episode of Hey Arnold and get this great, unique slice of life with interesting, diverse, lovable characters, a bit of urban grit to it, a bit of urban mythology. I just think Hey Arnold, very much episode to episode, it's got that standalone quality. It's got that quality where you can watch any individual episode and really be up to speed on what it is, who these characters are. I feel like the characters and the setting and the stories are so digestible, and I think that really, really plays to its strengths. Avatar is a genius series for sure, but it's an investment, and it's not necessarily the type of show that you're gonna just, you're gonna just turn on a random episode if you haven't seen it before and be like, oh man, like this really looks like something up my alley. I mean, you could, for sure, it's possible, but let's just say, and this will be my final point, there's a reason why they played The Great Divide so much in those early days of syndication. All right. So that's my point.
All right, boys. Let's fight it out.
All right. So to respond to Tiki's point, here's something that for the audience, they heard my show is a masterpiece. And I understand Tiki's point is about Nicktoons being of a certain aesthetic, of a certain mold. But here's the thing that doesn't really fly I'll make an analogy with another comparison. If, let's say, there was an argument about what's the best superhero comic of all time, if I were to bring up Watchmen or The Dark Knight Returns, it would be ridiculous to have the competition against those books be like the typical superhero comic from the 60s or 70s.
I feel like that's a completely different argument though. Like comic books are one-shot experiences. Nicktoons are TV shows. Nicktoons, I feel like syndication kind of means everything for Nicktoons. And Avatar, there's a reason why Avatar exploded on Netflix, but it didn't really do that well in syndication. And I really do think that with the Nicktoons branding, I mean, honestly, even with you see all those shirts all over the place, right? With the Nicktoons characters, I own a couple of them. Never do I see Avatar characters on there. I feel like Avatar is a property that very much stands alone. It is technically a Nicktoon, but I feel like it's, I don't really feel like people associate it with the brand.
See, my issue with it is that I feel like you're doing a disservice to sort of what Nicktoons can be by just limiting it to sort of this particular aesthetic and this particular, mold that really only exists for some part of the 90s. I think from the 2000s onward, Nicktoons
has Nickelodeon ever gone more ambitious than Avatar, with the exception of Korra?
No, I would. No.
So like I said, I feel like the presence of Avatar, it almost kind of confused the branding of Nicktoons more than anything else.
but we're just arguing simply on. But here's the thing: the question is, what is the greatest Nicktoon series of all time? And to my mind, you would answer it: what is the show that is the best quality? And you never made any arguments against the quality of Avatar. You're making an argument about. If I would understand if this particular question would be about which show is reflective of what Nicktoons is as a brand or as like
Sure.
a culture cachet, and I think there's probably a better argument for Hey Arnold. But if
Well,
I'm
like I said, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to watchability. It comes down to Hey Arnold has, like dozens upon dozens upon dozens of standalone masterpiece episodes. And I'm not saying Avatar doesn't. Avatar has some really, really brilliant standalone episodes. And you can watch some of those, like the Puppet Master, for example, comes to mind, and that is an episode that you don't necessarily have to be caught up in the show to enjoy. But I just feel like I feel like you are kind of giving a disservice to the syndicated part of the Nicktoons brand, to the part where it's like, I feel like Nicktoons in a lot of ways is comfort television to a certain extent. And I will keep arguing. I really don't think Avatar, like Nicktoons, Nickelodeon kind of uses Avatar in their own way. Like I really feel like it's kind of like a weird outlier. So yeah, Avatar is a hard show to argue against in quality. I'm not going to sit here and be like Avatar's story is bad, because it's obviously not. But at the end of the day, I will say this: if I were to sit down and binge 5 random episodes of Hey Arnold versus 5 random episodes of Avatar, I'd pick those 5 random episodes of Hey Arnold, because you're going to be getting a grab bag of interesting, diverse stories with an urban flair that Hey Arnold has. With Avatar, you're just going to be getting like a chunk of, a good story, but I don't think any one of those 5 episodes is going to have as much substance to it as an episode of Hey Arnold might have.
See, my thing is that like I guess maybe there's a bit of a bias because I think it's like with Hey Arnold, like those are procedural episodic television, and I think for me, in regards to sort of where our culture is at in terms of more ongoing long arc storytelling in television, both in animation and live action, I think Avatar's like overall saga story about Aang going up against the Emperor of the Fire Nation has such more staying power. And I kind of disagree that like Avatar, like you don't. I don't know if I can remember like seeing characters, but you see like Earth, Wind, Water, Fire symbols, like shirts, and like how people with Harry Potter is like, oh, I'm Slytherin or Ravenclaw. Avatar, you're like water. Oh, I'm like the Water Nation.
Avatar is ripe with theme park potential, my friend. I'll give you that point. It is ripe with theme park potential and branding.
Yeah, and I think for me, my thing is just like, okay, there might be good standalone episodes for Hey Arnold, but I would think
and then good doesn't even begin to cover it. Hey Arnold has just a complete bevy of just brilliant standalones.
But I think overall, like I don't see Hey Arnold having really anything, that transcends like its particular niche. But I think it's Avatar with its rich thematic storytelling. It is appealing for both children and adults, and I feel like Hey Arnold. Not to say that I'm
Arnold's Christmas, Parents' Day. I could go on. Pigeon Man is a big one. I mean, Hey Arnold has episodes that absolutely speak to adults. Like, as an adult, I will say that Pigeon Man as an episode is like way more powerful as an adult who's been through my own sort of isolation and knows, can kind of relate to Pigeon Man on that level. Like, I really feel like Avatar, it's like, it's got great themes. Don't get me wrong. It's got really great themes. Really, it's like, I just think with Hey Arnold, the lessons and the morals are so digestible. It's like a more urbanized Peanuts, but I think that makes it like a kind of genius show in a way. Like it's, if you look at an episode like Stoop Kid, for example, you're going to get a whole exploration of agoraphobia and, but done in kind of like a creative, funny sort of way. The Chocolate Boy episode is all about addiction. I think Hey Arnold is just ripe with these kind of, to say that the themes in Hey Arnold aren't relevant to adults, I think is ridiculous, because like I could just go down the line. There's so many episodes that I can think of that adults find even more powerful than kids do. Arnold's Christmas, of course, being an iconic example. I could keep going.
See, here's just sort of the thing. It's like if we're in order to make this argument about what is the greatest Nicktoon series of all time, your arguments boil down to sort of, oh, like Nicktoons is basically comfort television,
Yeah.
and these are digestible episodes. But I don't think that like Nicktoons should be just defined in that narrow way. Nicktoons is just, I mean, there's the Nickelodeon channel.
I just
And-
don't think there's enough series that have the ambition of Avatar to say that like Avatar is the way that Nicktoon should be doing things. I feel like there's much more of a precedent and much more of a brand for the type of storytelling that Hey Arnold provides to associate with the Nicktoons brand.
I mean, just because like Hey Arnold is more what you think stereotypically Nicktoons is, that doesn't answer the direct question of what is the greatest Nicktoon series of all time. Because my argument is that you keep saying that Avatar: The Last Airbender is a masterpiece, and it's great. And I think that is the answer to the question: what is the greatest Nicktoon series of all time? And
But I mean, if you're just going to go based on that, we might as well, like, honestly not even have the debate, because like I said, I'm not going to cut into something that's quality, because it is quality. But like with Hey Arnold, I honestly haven't heard a lot of takedowns about Hey Arnold either. I think, like, first of all, like for Hey Arnold, this might be kind of sacrilegious, but I'm just going to say it. It's a more diverse show than Avatar, even though Avatar is this crazy fantasy world with Asian influence and stuff. You know, it's like, Hey Arnold, there's so many different kind of kids in that show, and you know, different cultures, and it's like a melting pot, and they do it in a very, very natural way where it's not like artificial and it's not just force feeding diversity. Hey Arnold is a show that was like diverse before diverse was cool.
Yeah, but like Avatar is like another fantasy that is inspired by Asian culture and entrances kids of all diverse groups. And like the world that Avatar,
but I also don't like the fact that Avatar literally ends on a toxic ship.
Okay,
I'm not a Katara and Aang fan. I think Katara was much more of a mother figure to Aang. Aang throughout the series basically was toxically just like, I want her, she is my prize. And
talking about toxic relationship, and you have the show where Helga, who's actively bullying Hey Arnold, like
Helga
Arnold
and Arnold never actually get together. That's the difference. Helga represents. Helga is a very, very realistic representation of, you know, the type of impact that an absentee family life can have on you. And yeah, some of those weird psychological things are going to brew up. Frankly, as someone who has my own psychological issues and my own family shit, I find Helga as a character to be incredibly relatable, and not just relatable, but almost like, you know, like endearing and just meaningful to me, just because I see myself in her in some ways. And does that make me a weird person? Yeah, probably. But
time out. She is a human being. Yes, she's had a really messed up family life, but for a person that she likes, she has genuine feelings for. She doesn't reciprocate. But she doesn't express that. She expresses bullying and harassment of this guy and his friends. And whereas with Aang and Katara, I don't know if we were going through this part of the day. It's like Aang and Katara, like Katara maybe have a bit of a motherly, vibe or whatever, but Aang and Katara have shared values, similar values, have shared experiences, and have care for one another. And so I don't see how that's a toxic relationship.
Maybe I should have used the word toxic, but I don't know. Like, I was rooting way, way, way harder for Zuko and Katara. And B, like I said, I really, really don't like the fact that, like, if we need to have Aang and Katara get together, fine. That's fine. But, like, it's always been a black mark on the show. As much as I like it. You asked me to criticize the show, I'm doing it. It's always been a black mark on the show for me, that the show just literally ends on this big, dramatic, like, sweeping kiss, as if that's the one thing that's been building up to, and that's the one thing that means anything. I mean, that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. As a matter of fact, like, in some ways, I almost kind of prefer Korra, just because I feel like Korra's storytelling is a little bit less on the nose in some regards. I'm not saying Korra is a better series. I'm just saying in that particular instance, I don't know. I just like it. I keep using this analogy with podcasts, but it's like at the very end of an epic Lord of the Rings style show, I should not be thinking, oh yeah, I'm watching a show that's meant for children. And that big sweeping kiss at the end kind of gets me to that point of like, oh yeah, right, that's obligatory because the show is
hold on. Like two people kissing at the end of like this long journey is not something that like is indicative of the show being.
I just don't like the fact that it's the last note we go on.
Okay, I've heard enough.
Okay then.
All right, this was a tricky one. It was first of all, very strong fight, gentlemen. This was well fought. That said, things definitely took a turn. I was pretty
I think
secure
this
in my.
is anyone's game. I'm actually genuinely curious how you guys.
I was, as far as my vote goes, I was very decidedly. I mean, again, it was really touch and go. You both made very solid arguments. I think Tiki's opening was a little stronger than Rohith's, and I think Tiki had really solid momentum going for him. But then, honestly, I think he really started to crumble the moment he brought the shipping thing into it.
Yeah, that was
the
only reason I brought that in was because Rohith kept knocking me on not criticizing the actual show.
Yeah, but Tiki, he could barely say anything against Arnold. You had him, man, and then you gave him ammunition. So because of that, I cannot vote for you.
That's fair.
Okay, so my vote
that
goes.
was a risk that I was willing to take. That's fair.
Okay, my vote goes to Rohith. Jacob, where are you leaning, buddy?
It's like, yeah, you had me for a while on Hey Arnold. Like you brought in the whole toxic thing. I'm like, okay. Like, I did like your defense.
I still think Katara and Aang is toxic. I don't like how Aang was basically just like, be my girlfriend, Katara. I don't know.
And yet you made the whole mother point, Tiki. This is where I think you made the wrong
Yeah,
point.
that's because Katara was very motherly to Aang, like literally the whole series. But it's fine. I get it.
All right. Okay, anyways. I'm sorry, Jacob. Go on.
But you also said you'd be better off with Zuko, which is objectively wrong. So,
all right. I've got my ships.
And trust me, that opinion is shit. So, but regardless, I still think in the end that as much as I like, hey,
each other as equals and not like, oh, I'm your fucking older sister and you have a crush on me. It's weird.
Oh, come on, don't. The debate, come on. The point's over.
Right.
If you actually watch the show, the attraction was pretty much mutual from the get-go. So I'll just leave it at that and say my vote goes towards Rohith as well.
All right. So out of curiosity, Claudie, where were you leaning?
This was a tough one.
Yeah.
I like what Tiki said when he was talking about Hey Arnold, but just like the rest of you, he kind of lost me with the shipping thing.
Pretty unanimous, I take it. Okay. Okay.
So I think you know where I'm going with this. After go for
all right,
Rohith,
I'm perfectly cool with y'all just y'all just like getting into toxic relationships with women who want to like be there for you.
Don't make it personal. This is another thing too. You kept making it personal. That's kind of that wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. I think I heard a gunshot go off into his foot at that point.
All right.
Yeah, it sounded too personal when you mentioned the shipping thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
First point goes to Rohith. All right, Jacob, you're keeping a keen ear out, right, buddy?
Yep, and I can safely say that they did not utter the safe word during that round.
Okay.
If anything, it's like the opposite of a
safe word. Not a safe word, Jacob. A secret word. They haven't said the secret word.
I was being sarcastic.
All right. All right. Okay, we have some great comments here. I'm going to try to read them real quick here. We also, Honeybee has joined us. Am I late? Sadly, you are, Honeybee, but we're at the end of round one, and the first point went to Rohith. So, you haven't missed a whole lot, just a lot of interesting debating going on. All right, let's see. Okay, again, Bedazzled 4720 said, like, how did they win this argument? Very difficultly, because it was a really even fight.
I think you're responding to. I think they're responding to an earlier argument or earlier comment from Jedi Knight, though.
Oh, I was thinking people throw out a lot of suggestions. Some of them maybe possibly sardonic. I'm not sure, but like good ones like hey, Rugrats, and then Cat Dog, and then others like attacking the power of Juju, so I'm not exactly sure.
And then sarcastic ones like Planet Sheen.
Planet Sheen.
So who knows where people were leaning on that one. But okay. Again, welcome to all the folks joining us. We are now moving on to round two. But before we do, we'll look for our secondary hidden coin here for a second. We'll look for the Kablam coin, or Coin Blam, as it's wonderfully referred to. Let's see. Let me check this giant oversized prop nose. I'm looking for. I got it. Oh, it's a flag, guys. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Just the flag.
Too bad we can't get Harry and June in on this.
Yeah, too bad. Be amazing. Okay, round two. So there are trends of eye-catching top dog NickToons over the years. Like, there are trends. There's always kind of like there's the big kind of go-getters. There's the eye-catching ones. There's shows you see a lot of, and marketing is crazy. So looking back as we are this month, it begs the question: who is the most iconic NickToon character? In other words, who is the most mascot-worthy NickToon? I'm talking like a Walt Disney Mickey Mouse, a Stan Lee Spider-Man, like kind of indicative of the brand. Is it like could be a mascot, kind of a corporate mascot to the degree. Okay, Rohith, what was your pick?
SpongeBob Squarepants.
Obvious choice.
All right, okay, let's see. Then we have Tiki. What did you get?
I'm going with Reptar.
All right, Rohith, dazzle me. Opening statement.
Now, what show is SpongeBob from again? He's from that Patrick Star show, right?
Jacob has one on the board, but he's not playing. Okay. Okay, Rohith, what do you got?
All right. So when thinking about iconic NickToon characters, there's just a variety of options, but I know y'all say it's the obvious option, but the obvious option can sometimes be the best option. And SpongeBob SquarePants is the most iconic NickToon character in terms of the amount of merchandise that is sold of him. The fact that he's not only had one but two movies. His cartoon has been long running to this very day. He's a person that's now transited pop culture and has gone into the world of memes. And I think to sort of, for Disney, their iconic character or mascot is Mickey Mouse, as Blue Dragon mentioned. And Mickey Mouse has like merchandise to sold. He shows up in various properties throughout the years. And he's, also showed up in memes. And I just think that with SpongeBob, if we were to do a game of word association and just like do Nickelodeon, SpongeBob just comes to mind. And I think SpongeBob is the most iconic one of the most iconic show of the Nicktoons brand, and thus SpongeBob SquarePants, but just by his design, a sponge with a tie, a dress shirt, and brown shorts or however he's worn. It is a design that is drawn on little kids' notebooks. It is a design that comes to mind when one thinks of Nickelodeon, and it is a character that is not replicated or isn't just one of many. There's no other Sponge character in any form of media or pop culture. SpongeBob is the one, and he stands on his own, and he is an icon of the Nicktoons brand. And thus, in that regard, he is the most iconic Nicktoon character and will show up in slime throughout the infinity and beyond.
All right, Tiki.
So yeah, SpongeBob is absolutely the obvious answer, and I am not one to go with obvious answers. So let's talk Reptar. Reptar was there from the beginning. He was there from the class of 1994. I think that's is that right? No,
it's not right.
1991.
There you go. Yeah.
I was literally thinking Jurassic Park. I'm sorry.
Yep. Well, still that was wrong. Jurassic Park's 93.
Okay, I'm sorry. He was there from the class of 93. He is one of the originals. He is a top dog. And I think the reason why, in my humble opinion, he beats out SpongeBob is Guess what, guys? I'm going to go for basically the same argument that I went with last time. At this point, I feel like SpongeBob has almost kind of like transcended the NickToons brand. Remember those shirts that I pointed out? The shirts that I have, a couple of? Reptar is prominent on all of them. He is like prominently in the background of all of them, standing tall in his 90s glory. You know who's not on those shirts? Any of them? SpongeBob. And that's because SpongeBob is an enterprise. SpongeBob is a brand unto himself. And a lot of people will agree with me here. SpongeBob is like, he's as much of a curse for the channel as he is an icon for the channel. Because, my God, we all know that his series has just run into the ground. Like, I don't need to repeat the point there, but I'm just talking about, like, there comes a point where it's like The Simpsons, right? Like, I really don't think The Simpsons are beloved pop culture icons like they used to be. And I really feel like SpongeBob is kind of following that same route, where it's like with SpongeBob, there's like 4 good seasons. And like, I'm not trying to say this is like Rohith, you're absolutely right as far as like memorability, originality goes. Like, I honestly don't have you beat there. But as far as just the sheer iconic status and being beloved, Reptar is pretty much beloved by any 90s kid. Reptar is one of those characters. I really adore how they used him in the show, where he's like this kind of like larger than life hero to the main characters. And I feel like by being so larger than life to the Rugrats themselves, he was able to transcend for 90s kids rolled over and become larger than life in his own right as a character and as an icon. He hasn't outweighed his welcome like SpongeBob has. He will always be cool. He will always be iconic. He does not have a bunch of annoying gimmicks and marketing and a whole empire behind him. He stands on his own 2 feet as an icon just for being cool and just for existing. And I really don't think SpongeBob can say the same thing.
All right, let's see these giant parade floats have at it.
And by the way, SpongeBob technically has 3 movies.
Did I say anything about the movies?
I mean, no, I'm just saying Rohith said SpongeBob has 2, but technically he has 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a 4th one in the works too, apparently.
Wait, really?
I didn't even hear that one. But
Huh. All right, okay. Anyway,
All right, let's start it. Let's just point something out. So it's interesting that Tiki's arguments like, well, SpongeBob is not in terms of shows, not with good quality, and I just think back to like say the Mickey Mouse. He's obviously the mascot of Disney. When was the last time anyone enjoyed like a movie or show that?
Very recently. Tons of people love that Mickey Mouse cartoon. They made a whole attraction out of it. Very, very recently, people have liked Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, like, he did slip out of pop culture for a while there, but he always bounces back in something.
No. But to your point, it's like there are characters that I like more than Mickey Mouse in Disney's catalog, but that doesn't take away from Mickey Mouse's claim that he's the most iconic Disney character / mascot. If I were to draw a mouse with 2 ears, you would instantly recognize Mickey and associate with Disney branding, with the Disney like iconography, the milieu. And same thing with SpongeBob. If I draw like a square rectangle, draw yellow with a little bit of spots, you can immediately identify as SpongeBob and associate with the NickToons branding. And your arguments about like SpongeBob SquarePants is like recent seasons haven't been good. Yeah, that's fair. That's not. But that doesn't take away from iconography.
It taints his brand. It taints his brand for me at least.
Reptar is like a green dinosaur that like from the 90s that I honestly don't think doesn't really transcend that well. Out of anyone in Rugrats, like we could have shown Angelica, Chucky, Tommy. Those characters are iconic more than a freaking toy dinosaur. And it's a dinosaur. It's already going to be eclipsed by the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs in the show in the 90s where like the ending was like the asteroid coming in. And so my
Kaiju, not a dinosaur.
Well, Tiki, they call him dinosaur all the time in the show, though. So I mean, they don't really say kaiju in the show. So I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just telling you, like, dinosaur is not incorrect.
I'm just saying, I think that's a weird argument. Like, oh, he's going to get killed by a meat. Like, no, he's a
No,
fucking
my
giant
argument's not.
dinosaur.
No, my argument's not that he's gonna get killed by an asteroid. It's just that he doesn't stand out as compared to other iconic dinosaurs in our pop culture. Whereas SpongeBob, there's only one talking sponge, and he is the face of Nicktoons. He'll show like you'll. It's not hard to see him near any Nicktoons attractions, any people wearing the costume, entertaining children. Like in like. There is more of a greater likelihood that SpongeBob SquarePants episodes are in greater run and greater syndication than Rugrats has or ever will be. And that's not to say Rugrats is bad or Reptar isn't a cool character, but Reptar being this green kaiju that the children refer to as a dinosaur doesn't really transcend its show. SpongeBob, your arguments that like, oh, it's an enterprise itself, that's even more greater credence to it being an icon. Mickey Mouse is his own enterprise. You're not even telling me that Mickey Mouse isn't the most iconic Disney character because he's his own enterprise with the amount of merch and shows and memes and all that stuff. That's an argument for iconography, not against. You there?
Just give the point to Rohith.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was gonna pick him anyway, so SpongeBob.
Okay. All right.
SpongeBob.
Okay, so just let's see. So,
This is why autistic people don't deserve to fucking be on the debate.
All
I swear
right,
to God, I'm such a
come
fucking
on.
piece of shit.
come on. Let's keep it civil. All right. All right. So let's move on to round number 3.
I'm not having a good week, guys. I swear to God. All the commenters, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm such a piece of shit. I'm so sorry. You've been just sitting there. You've been sitting there the whole time, just saying how much of a piece of shit I am. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. So we're just gonna go to round number 3 here. I'm sorry. We're going to go to our pitch question next. All right. So let's okay, what would you pitch for a Nicktoons based attraction
Coin
question?
dragon.
What?
Coin.
Yes. Well, let me check the old seat cushions here. Let me see if I can find them. Let me see. I'm sorry, no one is lug nuts. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next round then. Okay, can we get the next banner up, please? All right.
Nobody
Rohith,
even gave me
what?
a shot. Nobody even fucking gave me a shot to say
Rohith,
anything.
Rohith, what is your pitch?
The Ghost Dimension and Danny Phantom.
All right. Okay,
Nobody's gonna want to hear what I have to say, but wild thornberries.
All right.
Like I've already lost.
Well, this is your strength, Tiki. Attraction pitching is what you're.
No one's gonna want to fucking hear it, man. So I don't even know why I'm doing this.
Because we're debating, Tiki. That's why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rohith, what's your pitch?
This is where I have to put a little bit of work on it because I'm not really good at the theme park. The way I would do it is like you just have a dome that can illustrate images of the like ghost dimension, so it's a bit of like a green purple vibe, and then you have as you sort of snake through the path, you just have like different buildings that represent different locations within the Guildstone, and then you have the various actors, play the parts of the villains from Danny Phantom, the Lunchbox Lady, the rocker chick, what have you, and it's sort of what I'm picturing is sort of the tip, one of the Pirates of the Caribbean rides. You just sort of go, sail through, and you see a lot of the actors playing the pirates. That's just sort of what I'm going for. Just being immersed in the experience of the Ghost Dimension, having the actors, have a really fun playing all the villain parts, and Danny fans will come in to stop them and entertain the kids.
All right, Nikki, what do you got?
All right, so I'm going for basically kind of like a Rise of the Resistance style ride system for mine. Just because I think that the ride system for Rise of the Resistance, the transport to get you to the Star Destroyer would work so well with a convoy. So my initial pitch is like you're going through like an African village or a town of some kind, and there's word that there are poachers on the loose and they are poaching the local wildlife. You need to go after them, and you go into the Humvee, into the convoy, I mean, and you see there's in the convoy there's just all the characters are animatronics. It's just animatronic city. You're decked out. You get the feeling like you're literally riding on the convoy. All the screens kind of show the environment. Then you get out of the convoy, and boom, you're in the middle of the jungle, and you're at a dock, and you board a raft. And from there, you take a river rapids ride down the jungle. Just a very exciting Wild Thornberries adventure, complete with animals, with hazards, with poachers, with a couple bit of elements of mysticism. And yeah, that's basically it. I just really think that the ride system would work really well. I think the Wild Thornberries is kind of ripe for an adventurous ride. And yeah, that's it.
All right, let's fight it out.
So I think it's just I think I don't know if it's actually an issue. I think it's more the ride. It's just I feel like it's something that I've seen before. Whereas with Danny Phantom, it's we don't really have franchises that have okay, there's Ghostbusters, but you don't really have a franchise where there's a specific world and environment where
there's a ton of haunted houses, ghost themed attractions. I mean, I'm not just talking about the Haunted Mansion. I'm talking about stuff like Ghost Blasters, which is a regional dark ride. There's a ton of Scooby-Doo dark rides. Yes, I'm going to include this in my argument. Fuck Butch Hartman. He doesn't need any more money. He doesn't need any more royalties. I know that's not fair to your pitch. I just got to throw that out there. If we are going to make a Danny Phantom ride, Butch Hartman is going to get paid in some way, and I don't want that to happen. I just think with my idea, there's a lot of different parks it could potentially go into. I think my idea is broad enough that you could do it on a bunch of different budget levels. You could do it in a zoo. You could do it, in a Universal park. You could do it at a park that's kind of like a SeaWorld or an Animal Kingdom type park. I feel like it'd be kind of you could switch it out. There could be different versions of it depending on the size of the park. Really, the main draw for me is that convoy section, just being in the convoy with the characters. The Rapids ride is just kind of that's the cherry on top, and that's honestly kind of how I feel about the trackless dark ride portion of Rise of the Resistance. It's it's a cool, fun little water ride through seeing some animatronic animals and some cool set pieces. But like I said, I really think that the convoy would really be the thing to sell this. And on that end, I don't really think you're going to see an experience like that outside of Rise of the Resistance.
See, I just think that, all right, there's cool animals and there's the water rapids of nature. I think there might be logistical issues in regards to, if there's animals involved in training and not having
Animatronic animals, no live animals.
Okay.
Good try.
See, at that point,
it'd be kind of like it'd be kind of like a more exciting version of the Jungle Cruise. Basically, think something like Kali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom, mixed with some of the set pieces of the Jungle Cruise, just a little bit more thrilling. But yeah, absolutely, like no live animals would be involved.
see, all right. At that point, I just think it's regards to sort of the uniqueness is that like, okay, I know you bring up the Ghost Rider Scooby Doo, and I think those are good points. I just think it's more like the Ghost Dimension is such an interesting world. It's like mythology and cast of characters. And so I think that's the sort of the attraction. It's like, oh, you grew up watching Danny Phantom or watch it recently, and there are these cool, like, eclectic set of characters with their own backstories and worlds. I think that's something that could be played out, in an interesting, environment that's reflective of the Ghost Zone. And that's sort of a fun experience for the kids that are introduced, into the show, or people that are much older that grew up the show when they viewed it. So I think that's sort of where I'm pitching is like, oh, it's just a more fun, like, role playing, and you're just as the audience seeing this happen, and that's just sort of my way of going about the pitch. Whereas I think yours is like, oh, you go through sort of see animals, playing around their animatronic and just water.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of keeping my pitch intentionally vague outside the pre-show, just because I really do believe that this is something that could go into like a smaller park, like a zoo or something like that. And I don't want to just have the whole experience be like some mega e-ticket type of deal. It's like, I think that the convoy section would be immersive enough to that you really get a feel for the show. And the Rapids ride section, like every theme park has a Rapids ride, and even like with zoos, I feel like with zoos, rapid rides are pretty popular. Like if a zoo is going to have a ride, Rapids are one of the things that they'll do. So like I said, my whole goal with this, I'm not trying to make like the next Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey or whatever. I'm literally just trying to make a cool regional ride that can kind of be used around the country using some cool characters and IP. I'm looking at it from a more realistic point of view, so that's why that's why I don't have a ton of detail.
I do want to respond to the Bush Hartman point, because I think that's sort of the point.
Please do.
I won't discount that, like, what Butch Hartman is as a person. I just think that, like, for what the franchise is, like, Butch Hartman, yes, he created the show, and he does receive residual royalties, all that stuff. But there's so many people that are involved that contribute to not just the show, but to all the other attractions, that I feel like it would be a bit of a disservice to not honor their contributions, and especially contributions for the actors who play in this part. Just let's say, for example, J.K. Rowling, another creator that is sort of toxic to her own franchise. They're still,
okay. But to your point though, the most likely place that this attraction will go into would be a Universal Studios. They own the theme park rights. And Universal Studios, as you just said, is also dealing with another very problematic creator. Harry Potter is a shit ton more popular and iconic than anything Butch has ever put his grubby little hands on. I don't disagree with your point about, like, there's talent behind the camera. Absolutely. Like, that's absolutely true of anything, for sure. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, especially as someone who's autistic, and Butch Hartman just has some, like, very, very terrible philosophies about that. Just anything that the man's involved in, I just get a little icky over. And, I'm not going to lie, like, even stuff like seeing the Fairly Odd Parents in Universal, like that, I don't know. There is, unfortunately, even though it's not fair to, associate, like, everyone involved in those shows with that, there is a stigma with the man, unfortunately.
Okay. Claudie, who you voting for, buddy?
I vote for Tiki, the wine berries.
Jacob?
I mean, I'll vote for Tiki as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was my thinking too. Is with the the concept of the rise of the resistance meets the convoy thing. And I just thought it was a really good idea with the river raft and everything. So I too voting for the boys. So clean sweep. Tiki's on the board.
Yeah. And yeah, for the record, guys, I'm very I don't know. It's been a long week. Ed Asner just died. I didn't want to bring that into it, but I'm not in a great frame of mind, so I do apologize for that outburst earlier. I kind of have a fight or flight response when I feel like I'm being dogpiled, and I don't think anyone was intentionally trying to dogpile me, but Rohith was hitting me with some points that frankly were impossible to rebuke, and the comments were just filled with oh man, Tiki's screwed. So I'm very sorry, guys. That was an incredibly inappropriate moment on my end, and I hope you can forgive me. I'm sorry about that.
All right. So that brings us to the end of 3 rounds. All right. So we're going to go to the. So let's start by going to the coin that we know we're going to get with Philip, the Nickelodeon coin. So who's feeling lucky? Who wants to pull a flipsy here, huh?
So everybody speak at once.
I know, right? I like how we're both nervous to say.
Well, you're both are on the board, so.
Rohith, do you feel like risking risk or rewarding it here, buddy?
No.
Okay, Rohith's gonna stay.
I'm gonna go with no too.
All right.
Philip, the girl Nickelodeon coin will remain.
I worked too hard for the 1 point I did manage to get.
I'm gonna flatten my hand, check the old piggy bank, and still no coin. All right,
and still no utterance of the phrase of doom.
I see. All right, that brings us, folks, now to the very exciting speed round. Of course, the way speed round works, 30 seconds followed by a 15-second rebuttal. Whoever speaks first goes first. We will be taking audience questions now for any pitches for a question for the speed round. We have some that are pre-submitted we're going to get to first, and then we will open it up to you folks. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them there, and you will judge who gets the point.
And the phrase of doom is also active within the speed round as well.
Yes.
But Dragon, are you going to do the alternate, the other thing that's going to go on here?
Again, with the wrinkles and the good times that are involved with the surprises of the speed round, there's a new feature we're testing out. This is the rewind feature. Okay, so here's how it works, boys. Okay? So both of you have the opportunity to do this once, basically on any question but a wheel question, let's say. Okay. Basically, if by the middle or by the end of your speed round now, basically before we deliberate, before we start to deliberate, or I ask someone to judge the round, before that happens, if you want to rewind the round, you can. But here's how it's going to work: you ante up a point, which means the winner of the round walks away with 2 points, and you could be down a point. Basically, you get to do over the round with the same option, the same picks, but you get to fight. We rewind the clocks back. We fight all over again.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Now, something we should discuss, but what if someone somehow manages to have 0 points? Will they be able to do anything then?
No. Not wait. But both of our guys have points on the board right now. So.
All right. I was just saying, just in case one of them somehow dips to 0.
Fair point. Well, yeah, once there's at least a point on the board, you can ante up your point, which again would give you 2. So that's okay.
All right.
Do you guys understand that? You good?
Yep.
Rohith?
Yes.
I didn't lose you, right?
No, I'm still here.
All right, good. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. That brings us to speed round question number 1, which is a wheel question. We're going to the wheel of what?
So we can't even use it this round.
Well, yeah. Wheel of Urban Legends. All right. We're going to spin the wheel and assign the choice here. So let's see. Tiki won last round. Tiki, do you want to go first or second?
Well, I mean, Like we just got like
Yeah,
does it matter if we just got the answer?
I wish you would have waited for me to give the
Sorry.
instruction, but
Hold on.
now
Let
we
me
gotta spin again now.
Okay, I don't mind going first. I'll go first.
Tiki's going first. Let's see what he gets. Then I'll give you boys
Like
the
Big
question.
Caesar would have been a good one. For
Yeah, it
me.
would have been. This is what we get when we don't wait.
Wheel of Legends, turn. Oh, so close.
All right, Tiki got Four-Eyed Jack. All right, let's see what Rohith's gonna get. Once we remove Four-Eyed Jack from the wheel.
I take it these are all things from Hey Arnold.
Yes, these are all Hey Arnold urban legends as delivered by Gerald, Phil, or by proxy of Fuzzy Slippers. Pretty much all the urban legends that can be easily found are on there, with the exception of the Hey Arnold Jungle Movie making Arnold his own urban legend. So that doesn't count because we can't have Arnold in these. All right, so let's spin the wheel for Rohith. Alright, Rohith's going to get Ghost Bride.
Ooh.
All right, boys. Now here's the question: which urban legend would make the best live-action standalone movie?
Ooh.
As in, you can't have
Okay.
Arnold or Phil or any of the Hey Arnold characters in it, but it is a standalone live-action film based upon these urban legends.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and start. This is kind of my territory here. So yeah, with Four-Eyed Jack, I think the interesting thing about Four-Eyed Jack that I would take out of it and put into a movie is the fact that he's kind of unassuming as a ghost. Like he's sort of just like a nerdy businessman, right? And so because of that, I would maybe do some sort of scenario where he's a lot more scary to the characters than he is in real life. And so it'd be kind of like an Edgar Wright sort of affair where you're kind of playing with the expectations of what the characters are actually like.
I think with the picture of the Ghost Bride, you have really a fundamentally good premise for a small and really scary horror movie that can be directed by either a James Bond, a Scott Derrickson, or I can't remember the name of the director who directed Doctor Sleep, and have a very strong, intimate story that involves like a really great couple that is like the marriage of the rocks, and there's like bride comes out and just haunts and seeks out more victims.
Yeah, sorry. I am going to go... Sorry, hold on. I am going to go with Edgar Wright as my director, and I'm going to make it like a little bit of a horror comedy, but like more horror than comedy, like so it's a little more horror leaning than Shaun of the Dead. But it's essentially like, what if your roommate was a ghost, but the ghost was kind of just an unassuming nerd? That's my pitch.
For my director, I'll go with James Bond. He's already a masterclass in directing with The Conjuring, and just his overall sense of dread and mood can really translate to a character the Ghost Bride being as iconic as, say, Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees.
All right, Jacob. Who do you think won?
I'd say based on the strength of argument and who to end the overall choice, I would have to go with Tiki's pick.
All right, Tiki gets the point.
I like Edgar Wright, and he actually has like a kind of a horror thriller coming out soon, I believe, too. So
Yeah, he does. That's honestly why it popped into my mind so easily.
well, I think it'd be a good choice for that. I mean, I'm not overly familiar with
Rohith,
horror.
I will give you this, though. I think Ghost Bride is probably a better horror movie villain than Four-Eyed Jack, for sure. I think you were on the money there.
I will say, in terms of actual movie, I would rather prefer watching your movie than my movie.
I'm gonna cast Taika Waititi as Four-Eyed Jack. Hey man, You know, I'm a ghost, but I'm just an average, ordinary businessman. You know, no need to be afraid of me. I mean, I might make terrifying noises in the middle of the night, but it's all good, man.
Honestly, I haven't seen either. I'm not familiar with either of those two, but based on the overall concept, I do vote for T. And by the way, Doctor Sleep was directed by someone named Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan.
Yes.
You know, had Pigeon Man been picked, you know who would have cast as him? Very
Michael
obvious.
Keaton.
Yep, that's it. Exactly.
Who did you say?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
You know, it'd be perfect for it, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please say Michael Keaton.
Yep. All right. Okay.
I mean, he's played
Arnold.
he's played at least 2 bird-themed characters in his life. So
go for 3.
Yep.
All right. Okay. This is okay. We got a wealth to pick from here. All right. Tell you what. I'm gonna go with you guys. You boys up for a challenging one?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Jedi Knight. Hopefully he's still with us. Jedi Knight submitted this question in advance. What NickToon crossover should have happened? Basically, guys, tell me a NickToon crossover that has not happened. Here's the ones that have happened. Okay, we've gotten Jimmy Neutron, the Fairly Odd Parents. We've gotten the
3
Rugrats.
times.
Yes, we've gotten the Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries, and pretty much all the Butch Hartman characters have met each other in a short.
Hey Arnold and As Told by Ginger.
All right.
I will go with Danny Phantom and Doug.
Okay.
And technically, a lot of them are meeting up in the upcoming All-Star Brawl game.
Well, yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Okay. Anyway, so excellent picks, guys. Let's see who's gonna win. All right, Tiki.
So I think Hey Arnold and As Told by Ginger are 2 masterpieces of the Nicktoons genre for their character work and for their realism. Put them together, I think it'd be gold. My pitch would be that all the characters are on a field trip to the dinosaur theme park from Hey Arnold. You know, there'd be a lot of drama, a lot of frankly, a lot of shipping, but that's kind of what As Told by Ginger is. You know, like Helga would probably be jealous of Ginger and all that. But I don't know. I just think it'd work really well. Those characters would really interact well.
Just imagine this: Doug and Porkchop go into Danny Phantom's world through some crazy magic from this witch ghost, are able to become Quail Man and Quail Dog. And so you have a superhero crossover. You have Danny Phantom and Quail Man teaming up to fight ghosts, try to find their love, and just have a good time. Oh, and just be a fun crossover.
Okay. Rohith, yours sounds like a lot of fun, but I think that mine just has more bones on the characters. And also, just in my 5 seconds, I want to mention that the Hey Arnold characters would be just very briefly aged up to fit the ages of the Ginger characters.
I would disagree, Tiki, because the thing is, you have Danny Phantom with his own mythology and his own world, and bringing Doug and Porkchop in and just having them be the superhero characters and having that world react to like someone like Quailman and Quail Dog, and just play with the sort of the superhero conventions and cliches in a fun way and in a parody way.
Okay. Again, ideally, Jedi Knight, if you're still with us, you get to call this round. You can decide who the winner is. So we're going to give you a minute to do that.
Kind of dry, so I'm not really sure if he's in or not.
Yeah, if that's the case, I'm going to let Claudia pick, but we'll see if it comes to that.
And we met the secret phrase.
Wait, we have?
No.
Yep. The secret phrase was, "I don't know."
Oh boy.
And Tiki said it right at the end of his first round.
Yep. Okay.
Terrific. All right.
Yeah. Well, let's see how the round turns out.
The
Then
points
I'll
are
reveal.
2-2 right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2-2. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So Jedi Knight votes in favor of me. Thanks, Jedi Knight. I appreciate that.
Okay, so Tiki, bring up the coin.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Okay, here's the penalty, folks. Now that Tiki said the secret word. All right, so Tiki, you do not have an option. You're going to have to flip this coin. Heads, something bad happens. Tails, something bad also happens.
Basically, they say good or worse. Or
So
bad.
this is like a Bowser space on Mario Party, essentially.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Let's see, Tiki's going to get. Okay, got heads. So here's what would have happened.
Oh God.
Okay.
That's not what happened if it tails with tails first.
All right, so heads, Tiki loses half a point. So basically now he has two and a half.
Okay. Oh,
Which
man,
means
we're really
Now remember the rules. The
Dragon.
rules of our
Dragon
game.
Page would not be happy because we are muddying the waters here.
Oh, I'm well aware. So Tiki now has 2.5 points with the point that he just got, which has been sliced in half.
Okay.
Now what that means is our game ends when somebody reaches 5 points, which means now Tiki said if he gets 4 point, if he gets this, he'll have 4.5. He's going to have to get 5.5 now.
All right, I like it. I like it actually.
Are you curious what Tails would have been?
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, though, technically it's the same as just losing a point in the first place.
I mean, pretty much it's the illusion of a point, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tails is your opponent would have picked your next speed round question with the exception of the wheel, which we already did. So that's what that would have been.
All right.
All right, now we don't have to worry about the penalty thing again. So if you want to say I don't know going forward, you can, unless I'm lying. But no, you can.
What about the coin?
I'm so glad you asked, Tiki.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Because look what I found while we were doing that.
It's the
Coin blam.
Okay, so I have 2.5. Rohit has 2, right?
And Henry is on the heads and June's on the tails.
Now you won. Now Tiki, since you won that round, the coin is yours to do with what you will.
Yeah, fuck
Yep.
it. Let's do it.
Okay, he's gonna flip it. Let's see where we're going.
Oh.
Okay, so Tiki now is 1.5 points.
Okay. I'm only half a point down. It's fine.
But
Okay.
it's the same as being 2 points down.
Okay, now you have 1.5 points, Tiki.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure for
I'm
posterity's sake.
following along. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. So we had a Jedi Knight question. I'm trying to see if we have any fresh questions. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
My job is done.
Very good, Jacob. Very good, man. I'm gonna
Yes.
take a quick perusing. Jacob, would you like us to do a certain traditional question next?
Is it like a Muppets question?
Yes, sir. It is.
Well, we got to do the Muppets question.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
I mean, it's obligatory, or at least a Muppet adjacent question.
And again, folks, you got any live questions, we'll take them. Otherwise, I'm going to go with the pre-submitted, just to let you know. Because we already did a Jedi Knight question. I want to just have to do another one, but at least not yet. So, right now, we're going to do a Muppet question. All right. Which Muppet should host the Kids' Choice Awards?
Oh,
Oh, Pepe.
You know, Tiki's got Pepe and his Steppe.
Okay.
Miss Piggy.
It's got Miss Peggy.
Okay. This is not going to go well for you, Rohit. Okay. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready, okay?
yeah, we'll let
Okay. Pepe is a character that absolutely thrives in chaos. Pepe loves chaos. He would be all over the Kids' Choice Awards, man. The kids would eat him up. He'd be great with the kids. You know, he's on their same level. He's their same size. He's got their same energy. Miss Piggy would have such a terrible time at the Kids' Choice Awards. I can't even begin to describe it. She is all about fashion and high class, and the KCAs have none of that.
See, what is marked as a weakness for Miss Piggy is actually a strength to the quality of the hosting. Miss Piggy is a character that has her own agency, has her own drive, and can be a diva that can have a lot of great personal dynamics. You could have Jack Black be someone be there to like be his love interest or whining for her attention, just like the Muppet Caper thing. She can karate chop people. She can just have snappy quips at people. It can be a great hosting experience that maybe Miss Piggy will love, but it'll be interesting for us.
All right, I'm going to use my 15 seconds to point out 2 missed opportunities. Number 1, I think it would have been fun if like the whole thing was like a troll on Miss Piggy, if the whole joke was that she was miserable. Number 2, how can you bring Jack Black into it and not bring up the time he was kidnapped by the Muppets? What are you doing?
That's part of the fun in having Jack Black brought in. You have the weird tension that comes into play, and Jack Black is a great physical performer, and him doing, say, a karate match against Miss Piggy would be hilarious. It would bring the house down at the Kids' Choice Awards. And that's just an argument for Miss Piggy being a character that can very much host the Kids' Choice Awards.
Okay, I'm going to call this one. So again, two solid picks. I just honestly feel, while I love Jack Black being brought into it, and I do, and I love like the pre-kidnapping tension, hilarious as that may be, and also like a reluctant Miss Piggy getting into it. I mean, just Pepe, Tiki's laid out flawlessly why Pepe works. It's like size, energy level. He's on the level. He thrives in chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
Yep. I mean, heck, Pepe has prior hosting experience. He was a guest. He was also a guest announcer at the Game Awards once.
Yeah.
So by that logic, I give the point to Tiki. So now he's got 2.5 on the board again.
I mean, now I just realized
I'm back in my original position, baby.
Yeah.
See, now I just realized I should have picked Animal for.
I think Animal maybe would have been a little too chaotic.
I think Gonzo would have been my pick, but
Yeah.
Gonzo's a tough nut to crack sometimes with how you use him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
What about Fozzie as the host?
Ooh,
Not
that
bad.
would have been fun.
it's not bad.
And of course, he would have to have Stedler and Waldorf.
Although
there.
I feel like the I don't know, whatever the fuck you call this generation, the Gen Zers would have eaten Fozzie alive.
Yeah,
And of course, he had Fuzz. He would have to put in Stedler and Waldorf as a package deal.
Of course.
yeah. Which I don't know. Like, I love it. I don't know if the kid's like, who are the old man on the balcony? Well, that's the
They
generation.
saw the Saturday Night Live sketch, maybe.
Yeah, they're making a comeback. Yeah.
It's like
When's Key and Peele gonna beat him? I know Peele wasn't in it, but I'm just saying, where's Key and Peele to beat him up? Let's bring in Keenan and Kel to anyway.
All right.
Sorry. Okay. So I don't think I'm seeing any. I think I'm gonna go with one of the pre-submits here.
Go for it.
Okay. He's not here, so I'm gonna let Claudia. Claudia, you're gonna judge this one, buddy, unless he miraculously shows up, which I doubt.
Mhm.
Our pal Super Billy submitted a question. It's a very simple question. It's what was the best era of NickToons, the 90s or the 2000s? It's a quick draw.
90s. Oh my god.
I guess I'll go by 2000s by default.
If we circle back to the initial battle.
for a moment, it almost sounded like you said the best error of Nicktoons.
No, best era.
Yeah. I mean, I know what you meant, but
Yeah.
it just sounded like it for a moment.
Yep.
All right. This actually is a good, like, there are strengths and weaknesses to both of the eras. I just think the 90s is more consistent. The 2000s maybe had higher highs, but I feel like everything that came out of the 90s was just rock solid, iconic. Even if the shows themselves weren't like masterpieces in some ways, they were still just like iconic fixtures of childhood. The 2000s, you have some masterpieces, but you also have some really loopy stuff.
I think the argument to the 2000s is just based on the quality. It's based on the shows we have. And SpongeBob SquarePants did start in 1999, but it's really just a show of the 2000s. So you have SpongeBob SquarePants, Told by Ginger, Fairly Odd Parents, Invader Zim, Chalk Zone, Adventure Jimmy Neutron, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Danny Phantom, Avatar: The Last Airbender. A lot of quality shows that I think stand the test of time and show just, I think really put NickToons on the map. Whereas in the 90s, it's like it's this grunge, punk thing,
You want to talk shit about the grunge look in the 90s? Because that's exactly what defined Nickelodeon in the 90s, and I love it. All those shows you just mentioned are really good shows. I don't really think they flow together as a cohesive brand as much as the 90s Nicktoons do. So that's my argument.
The emphasis on cohesiveness doesn't necessarily mean that makes a quality era or quality like period of programming. I would argue the shows, while yes, they're not consistent or like similar to one another. That just shows that Nicktoons has a wide variety and wide plethora of entertainment that gives a lot of people in the 2000s.
All right, Claudia. Who won? Literal crickets.
I know, right?
It's in my room. I have to.
Oh no, I know. I'm just
Jacob, it's
so
very
rarely
appropriate for the moment.
so rarely do we have the opportunity to make that joke.
Un-
Claudia, you there, buddy?
90s? Tiki one?
Okay.
All right, thank you, Claude.
3.5.
Yep.
For the
3.5.
record, I honestly thought that Rohith had a slightly better argument than me, but thank you, Claude. I appreciate it. Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the 2000s also had a lot of crap in it too. Probably more.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't want to like start listing it just because I feel like it would have been hitting below the belt.
All right. Okay, which? Okay, here's one. Okay, so
I had to find that cricket before I go to bed tonight.
Oh God. There was a car alarm that kept going off at work, like for like hours. It was awful. Anyways.
So as we all have learned over 30 years, time can be a quality show's greatest weakness, which brings about the question: which Nicktoon show had the worst decline in quality as it went on?
Fairly Odd Parents.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Dragon? Am I
Oh
ready?
yeah, you start us off, Tiki.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Why don't you start
Just making
speaking?
sure. Okay. SpongeBob can still like occasionally make me laugh now and again. It certainly isn't the same level of quality that it was, but I feel like SpongeBob as a show, quality-wise, kind of comes in waves. Fairly Odd Parents dropped off relatively quickly, kept doing bullshit jump the shark things like the baby and the dog and the neighbor, and also, just gonna savor this. Fuck Butch Hartman. Sorry, guys. I can't. I just any opportunity I have to say that.
Well, so much for leaving that out.
You thought I was gonna leave it out?
Well, I meant earlier more so, but anyway.
I think it was more we were hoping.
Yeah.
All right.
To start off with, like SpongeBob is just a former shell of itself. Like The Simpsons, it's not near the highs that it has, and I'm just thinking back to sort of what Tiki mentioned way earlier in this debate that like SpongeBob was like good 4 good seasons, and then after that, like SpongeBob is still producing seasons, and the quality just is so dismal that all the characters become caricatures of themselves, and the jokes and humor that were more funny and clever have now just been stuff that you would see in like those god awful parody movies that were around in the 2000s.
I think SpongeBob, like I said, I think that we can still it's possible to have a good SpongeBob episode. Towards the end, it was not possible to have good Fairly Odd Parents. Like I said, story-wise, Fairly Odd Parents just kept like having way, way, way too extreme beats. SpongeBob consistently kept being the same show, just worse.
The thing is that with the Fairly Odd Parents, like they're what you call jump the shark. I would think that was just efforts to try something new, try something different. Whereas SpongeBob, I think, has fallen the trap of just going the same beats and being mediocre. I can more appreciate a show that fails in trying something different than fail in just doing the same all the time.
Mediocre should have been the word. Just saying.
Oh, you
Anyways.
mean mean for the penalty?
Yes.
Well, you know why it wasn't, right?
Why?
Do you know why the word was I don't know?
Why?
Because of the slime, Tiki. The origin of the slime. Remember, if you say, I don't know, you get slimed.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Otherwise, I would have gone with something fun.
Mediocre. All right.
Shut your mouth, you mediocre clarinet player.
Besides, if you were mediocre, you would have gotten it instantly. So,
yeah, you're
it would
right.
have been a foregone conclusion. It's like, how long until he doesn't say it? All right, anyway. So, Jacob, I'm going to let you call this one.
There goes that cricket again.
He's always playing cricket during these things.
Yeah. Anyway, I think they both had raised some pretty interesting arguments. I do think that they brought up a good argument, but about the Fairly Odd Parents. But Rohith also made a good point about it. Jumping the shark can also be viewed as trying something new at that point. Although obviously to varying degrees of success. but he also did bring up that SpongeBob was like just doing the same thing, only worse than what it did before. That cricket's getting louder, I swear. Sorry. So this is kind of a tough choice to deliberate on, but I honestly think I'm going to go with Rohith, basically based on the whole like trying something new angle.
All right, Rohit's got 3 on the board. He's catching up. Well, technically he's there if Tiki didn't have that half a point. But yeah.
That half a point was meant to be a punishment, but it's now an advantage.
Yep. Well, again, it gives him more time to catch up.
All right, so
All right.
we're at 3-3.
3.5. 3.5 to 3.
Okay.
3 and 3.5. So technically, well, you're kind of in the lead, but remember, it doesn't work until you get past 5 in your case now. So you're even. All right.
Are we going to do this like with a different secret word every time?
No, well, again, we're testing things out, Jake. We'll see what
I would not. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I like this. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Well, again, I don't think we're.
I like the half a point dynamic. I'm liking it more than I thought I would.
Okay, so this is a question that was submitted. Let me put it this way: this one was inspired by Jedi Knight. I changed the wording on it. So here's the question: Jedi Knight, you're still going to be able to judge this one, okay, buddy? All right. Which NickToon series had the best world building?
I mean, Avatar, right? Avatar: The Last Airbender, obviously.
Damn it, Tiki.
I'm sorry. That's just the obvious answer. I'm honestly surprised you didn't sweep in right away.
I was going to say, you took it. All right, I'll go with...
I thought you don't go for the obvious answers.
Aha! Hubris!
Oh, man. I will go with...
I feel like the speed round is the place to go for the obvious answers.
That's a fair point.
He said after he got his way.
I'm sorry. What do you say, Rohith?
Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom. Okay, the show that I know nothing about besides Butch Hartman. All right, awesome.
All right.
Which is a shame because Danny Phantom is actually a very good show.
That's the best.
I don't doubt that it's the best thing he's done. I don't doubt that. All right. Anyways,
and the first few seasons of Odd Parents were actually pretty great too.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start with Avatar. I mean, it's like you got all the magic systems. You got I love how the different nations are all very distinct. Like the water tribe is nomads. Ba Sing Se is like the big city. The Fire Nation is the bad guy. It's like the characters, the power sets, the world, the animals. The fact that the animals are basically just combined like real world animals. It's all so cool and so immersive.
With Danny Phantom, every ghost has its own story. You have Ember McLean, who's this rock musician who hates authority. You have Desiree, who's this like genie ghost. You have the Fright Night. You have Vlad the Impaler. Is there a reverb? Okay, and you have Danny Phantom's evil future self. And this any ghost that comes in has his own story. And you have the Danny Phantom family that has their ghost hunting business. And like things about Wisconsin and all that stuff.
So that villain roster you listed, it honestly sounds a lot like the villain roster from Big Hero 6, the series, and that's not a show I would put up on a pedestal for world building. Great characters, I'm sure, but I mean, it's not a world. Avatar is a world that happens to have amazing characters in it.
Avatar: The Last Airbender just basically does sort of similar things with like Harry Potter does, where it's like, all right, we'll have like 4 qualities or 4 attributes, and then every person just sort of fits the attribute, and there's not much complexity within each group or attribute, and then that's where you sort of have the whole like
All right, Jedi Knight. Hopefully you're still there. You get the call this round, buddy. So which argument
I'm
won you
also
over?
curious, Dragon, would Legend of Korra counted against Last Airbender?
I mean, I would have accepted. Well, mind you, he's the judge on this, but I mean, if I had a say, it would be that you could make the argument Legend of Korra is the same world just in the future. So you could have lumped it in there, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
No. I'm saying, like, could you have argued the world building of Legend of Korra against the world building of Last Airbender?
I mean, you probably could have tried.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, assuming you had a good enough argument, yeah.
I was just curious because honestly, I think Korra might have like slightly better world building, just because, like, honestly, I do kind of agree with Rohith's point about the Harry Potter thing, whereas I don't really think that's a problem with Korra.
Even though Airbender is a better show than Korra.
Yes, that's why Airbender is definitely a better show than Korra, but I think Korra has some strengths to it. Like, the pacing of Korra is a little better, in my opinion.
Really? Because like the first few seasons had like not very good pacing, basically because it was originally supposed to be a mini series.
Well, I like the mini series element of it, though.
I mean, when it was supposed to be just a mini series, it was fine. But then, like another season,
Book 2 was ass. All right, I'm not going to argue with you that Book 2 was ass. It was ass, but I think all the other books have a lot of merits to them as far as pacing goes.
Well, except for the birth of the Avatar was a good episode, though. That was in season 2. But
I don't know, Dragon. We might have lost Jedi Knight. I'm not
sure. That's
I mean, he hasn't commented since 11:20, so
yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna. All right. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay. Last chance, Jedi Knight, because I'm about to turn it over to Claudie to pick.
Oh, he got my answer.
Me too.
I'm gonna give him until the next minute strikes. Okay, we can give that long.
Which gives him 30 seconds.
Pretty much. Type like the wind, Jedi. Lovely turnout that we've had up to this point, though. We've had Jedi Knight, you've had that guy.
I legitimately scared everyone off, and I apologize. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm not even joking.
All right.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so almost there, down to the wire.
And now it's time.
Of course, now the cricket stops just when we need it.
I haven't killed it yet, so that's what worries me.
Okay, time's up. Claudie.
Tiki, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Okay, so that puts Tiki at 4.5.
Ooh.
See, again, had that half point not been there, it would have won.
right.
All right, so Tiki's got 4.5, which means Rohit's still got a shot left. And I'll remind both of you gentlemen, you do still have that rewind option to enact. Again, before the judgment comes down. So just bear that in mind. It's your call. Do with what you wish.
Rohith, this actually would have been a good chance for you to use that rewind feature.
And we had a big gap of time, too. So, for the judges.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't, I honestly think once I picked Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was not, I honestly think his best chance would have been fighting Last Airbender with Korra, honestly.
I'm going to take a quick perusing. I want to see if...
I mean, an argument could be made for some other shows, like, obviously, Hey Arnold, Invader Zim.
I mean, I love Hey Arnold, and Hey Arnold does have fantastic world building, but, it's got very, very small-scale world building.
Even small scale world building can be good, even compared to the large scale.
Sure. I mean, there might be an argument to be made with Hey Arnold.
Like I said, Invader Zim, even SpongeBob in its earlier seasons.
All right. Okay, we're...
SpongeBob is an iconic location, so...
Yeah. So it's a. Oh, there's the cricket.
Well, now you show up, you non-unionized punk. All right. Okay.
I'm just
All right.
picturing a version of the cricket from Mulan, but with attitude.
See, I'm just thinking of Poncio as the cricket from that
God.
nightclub. Remember that one time?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. All right. Okay, guys.
I swear I have the fly swatter in my hand right now, just waiting for it to show up.
All right. This is a quick draw question, gentlemen.
And we can't use the. Oh, wait, can you use the rewind here?
Yeah, you can use they can use the rewind here.
Oh, hey, Just Gigglet's here.
Hey! Oh,
Yeah,
we got a
with
question.
$5 super chat. Thanks a lot, Josh Kicklet. I really appreciate that one. We'll definitely do this question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's see. So, which Rugrat would you kill off in the inevitable live action movie
Phil.
where they're adults?
Chucky.
Phil.
Chucky.
I'm sorry, Tiki. What was yours?
Phil.
Chucky.
I know Rohith. Calm down.
So
From
Okay.
Phil and Lil. You know the one.
Okay, so Phil and Chucky, right?
Is Phil one of the twins? I haven't.
Yes.
All right. I'm not very familiar with Rugrats. All right.
I know, but this isn't like later Rugrats. This is like it's like the same lineup. They're like all the.
I mean, I guess that, like I said, I'm not very familiar with it. I don't think I've even watched it.
All right. What? Okay.
You know, it's been like many years. I don't know.
Okay. No judgments. That's okay.
I can feel. I can understand the judgment. Even the cricket's judging me.
The cricket's like, wait, what? All right.
We're having a field day with this cricket, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Sadly. All right. Okay. Just giggling. Our buddy Joshua Thomas presumably is posed the question. All right, Tiki, whenever you're ready.
Okie dokie. Twins dying is just inherently super sad and tragic. You can see that with Harry Potter, one of the most memorable deaths from Deathly Hallows. And I just think with Phil off the table, you would give way more development to Lil as her own character, something that honestly they were going towards anyways with All Grown Up, but now it'd be like you'd have like a real dimension with her. And I think Phil is the type of character to frankly die of a drug overdose in his early 20s or something like that. I just see it. He's on the trajectory.
killing out Chucky provides the most emotional, heart-rending moment in the Rugrats franchise and just overall fandom. Chucky has a mom that passed away when she was really young, and just imagine Chucky laying at his deathbed with his stepmother, Kira Watanabe, and his stepsister Kimi, and then he says, "I appreciate all that you have, and I'll say hi, and I'll tell my mom I said hi." And just imagine that hitting you in the heart, hitting you in the soul, and that is why Chucky should be killed off.
All right, my idea is like legit character development. Your idea just kind of sounds like emotional porn. It kind of sounds like something out of 13 Reasons Why, frankly. Chucky is the heart and soul of the series, absolutely. And if you kill him off, I don't think there's a movie to be made, unless the whole movie is just Chucky dying.
Yes, that would be the movie, because part of adulthood is facing one's mortality, and considering like it would be poetic for Chucky to face sort of a similar fate as his mother and dealing with the reality and how friends deal with the dying friend. That's a character development for the entire game, not just one person.
All right, Josh. Hopefully you're still with us, so you're going to call this round. Tell us who won you. Which we made. I don't know if you were here when we made that joke. We did.
Yeah, we did make the joke, Josh.
Because how can we not?
You guys will have to explain that one later.
Yeah, Alex Ponce, one of the JGI cast members, basically played cricket once in a nightclub.
And before he makes his dark manga, like I remember a couple of many years ago we did like another NickToons debate where we had an age-up question, and you did rocket power and another character that died of a drug overdose there too.
Oh my god! Of course, was it Twister?
Right?
I think it was.
Oh my god! I don't know why that it's just a go-to storyline with me. I don't know, dude.
You got some problems.
Just Phil, you can see it though, man. I mean that kid is not like he's not on a good path to life success.
Alright.
I really need to watch Rugrats now.
And I'm gonna give Josh another minute to respond here. Again, tell us who won you over, with their arguments. Otherwise, we're gonna have to figure something out, or someone.
Yeah, once again, Josh, thanks a lot. Honestly, the $5 coming to you is even more meaningful because I know for a fact you can spend that money on better things on your own end. So, very much appreciated, buddy.
Come on, Alex Poncio is waiting for you guys.
Okay. Oh, look at this here. Tiki, put it on the screen.
What?
Put it on the screen. We have to
The Poncio cricket?
Not the Ponzi, the one below it.
The what? Oh, okay. Sorry.
One. There we go. I will leave this to all three judges, but my answer would have been Tommy, and Chucky says that Tommy's dying. Say out of my mom for me. Crafty.
All right,
okay, so it's again. Well,
he's pleading the fifth.
Let's vote on it then. He said all three judges, so we're going to vote on it.
Oh, God.
Okay. Jacob, who are you voting for?
I'm not going to go into the details, but I'll go with Tiki's this time.
All right.
All right. Claude.
I go with Chucky.
Well, all right. All right, so that's Rohith. All right, that leaves it to me to break the tie. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm voting Chucky.
Okay.
I got rebuttals against Chucky. I didn't really get enough of why Phil would be necessarily dramatic death, but it's
that's fair. That's fair.
All right, so Rohith gets that point, which puts him at 4. So next point will decide the game.
That's how I like it.
4 to 4.5.
Right. That first time for everything.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna go with the quick draw question. All right.
I'm really glad I'm not competing because that cricket would be driving me nuts.
I feel like the cricket is kind of like on Survivor when you're trying to do a challenge and a fly lands on your face. You're like, oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. You boys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You gotta wait till I say both shows. Their full names. Okay. Which is the better show? Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra?
Avatar.
Okay, fair.
What did Rohith say?
Avatar.
Okay.
But what's his Last Airbender?
Yeah, I will assume he's talking about Avatar and not Korra. Okay.
Right.
I can work with this.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay, I'll remind you, boys, the rewind function, again, if you're feeling really insecure about your arguments, this would be the time to use it.
Okay, so Dragon, remind with the rewind function, we don't get to change answers or anything.
No, you just get to start over again. That's what happens. Is you keep the answers.
Gotcha. Okay, that might be helpful. We'll have to see. All right.
Whenever you're ready, Rohith.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is clearly a superior show in terms of its writing, in terms of its memorable characters, and in terms of the world that's established. The world is very much of Asian fantasy, and you get sort of a lot of spirituality with the creatures that come about and encounter in certain episodes. But Legend of Korra, by it being set several years in the future, you have sort of the steampunk element that kind of just messes with the vibe of the show, and the characters and writing is just not up to par. It's a lot of bad pacing. Certain characters act irrationally.
I know I'm fighting a uphill battle here, but I honestly feel like Korra in some ways is more digestible. I appreciate the shorter seasons. I really, really like the fact that each season has a distinct villain that ties into Korra's struggles. Season 2 sucks, yeah, but seriously, besides season 2, I really feel like all 3 other seasons really stand up on their own right. As far as storytelling goes, maybe not as good character work, but great world building, great suspense, great mystery.
At the end of each season, you have a memorable fight sequence and battles. And each season is very much tied to sort of exploring different worlds. You have the Water Tribe the first season, the Earth Kingdom the second season, and the Fire Nation the third season. You have time to experience and grow and meet different characters.
I feel like Avatar is kind of like, it's a lot of world building, a lot of setup, whereas Korra, we just kind of go into the world, and I kind of like that about it. It's like we're familiar with the world, so we just kind of like explore how it's changed. And you say the steampunk is a bad thing, but I honestly think it makes it super distinct from Last Airbender.
All right. Okay.
And,
Jacob? I'm gonna let you call this one.
All right.
Oh boy.
This is for all the marbles.
I'm gonna deliberate for a
You
little
can
bit.
ditch the speed round thing too when you get a chance.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I think both of them raised some very good overall arguments. I think both of them made like both positives and negatives to each other's show. But in the end, I heard more to and from Tiki than I did regarding Korra and Last Airbender than I did from Rohith. So my point goes to Tiki.
All right, the boy wins.
Right.
And Honeybee's back just at the very end. Thanks for sticking with us, Honeybee.
That's funny. God.
So just in case you missed it, last few seconds, Tiki won.
Woo! With 5.5 points.
You know, I like honestly, I beat, yeah, but that's fine. But Rohith, honestly, I kind of like to just hand over the victory to you, just because you were just a great sport about everything, and I just really made an ass out of myself on the second question. So honestly, I feel like just because of that alone, like you really are just the true victor here. I mean, I feel, I don't know, I really shouldn't have been, like, I really shouldn't have gotten that under my skin like that. So, you know, like, I just want to give you props for being super professional in light of that. I'm a mess. I've been a mess. So
I appreciate the kind gesture, Tiki, but ultimately you made a better argument, and I think you took it in stride, you apologized, and I think ultimately you came out as recovering and made as a good debater, if not better debater than me in this round. So you should own the victory, sir.
all right, nothing but kind words between the two of us. Like to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the comments as well. It's just I don't want to be like, this is why I'm in a bad mood, poor me. But I've literally been working outside, pulling 8-hour shifts in the heat, in the California smoke, alone because 2 of my coworkers decided to call in vacation days this week. So my mindset has not been great this week. So yeah, it's not an excuse, but it is an explanation. Hopefully, all right.
Hey, you've done well. Hey, in spite of that, you've argued the best in this particular area, and so and you're also a victor by that. So
all right, I really appreciate it, Rohith.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Dragon, you want to bring us out?
Well, let's thank the folks, and then we'll wrap this puppy up.
Okay, so big thanks to Honeybee, Jedi Knight, that guy, Bedazzled 4720, and then of course the incomparable Just Giggle It. Guys, seriously, if you don't know who Just Giggle It is, just go subscribe to them. They are, like, in my opinion, hands down the best sketch comedy on YouTube. I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with them. I legitimately believe in the quality of their content. We wouldn't have covered literally every sketch they've ever done on the podcast if we didn't love it. So go check it out. All right.
All right, and that brings an end to this Nickstalgic affair.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me just get rid of this.
There
Right,
we
go
go.
ahead. Sorry.
That brings an end to this Nickstalgic affair. Again, it's already been said, but happy 30th anniversary, NickToons, oh beloved as they are, and that does it.
And
We're out of here.
Here's the 30 more.
30 more.
30 more years of SpongeBob in the Loud House and nothing else.